Every night, before the 10-year-old boy went to bed, he would hear whispering coming from his closet. The whispers sounded like they were trying to tell him something important, but every time he got close enough to listen, the whispers would stop. One day, while the whispering was at its most intense, the boy managed to grab his phone and record the sounds. When he listened back to the recording, he heard someone say his name and then today's date. Now terrified, he runs to his parents, but they just laugh at him and tell him that it's all in his head. That is, until they listen to the recording for themselves, and even they can't explain what's going on. Now they must work together to get to the bottom of these strange occurrences. It's nighttime, and 10-year-old Timmy is getting ready for bed. As he puts on his pajamas, he begins to hear the whispers again. They seem to be coming from his closet. He walks over and begins to open the door. "What do you want?" he asks. But as soon as he gets close enough to listen, the whispering stops. This has been happening for weeks now, and Timmy is starting to get scared. He tries to convince himself that it's just his imagination, but how can that be when he can clearly hear the voices? And why do they seem to know things about him? The next night, the whispering gets louder. Timmy can't take this anymore. He grabs his phone and starts recording. The whispers get even louder, almost as if they're trying to tell me something important. Just as suddenly as they started, the whispering stops. Timmy listens back to the recording. At first he can't hear anything. Then he begins to make out the sound of a voice. It's barely a whisper, but he can make out the words. "Turn around." Timmy turns around slowly and sees his closet right there. He looks back down at his phone and sees that the voice said his name. He tries to ignore it, but then he hears the date being whispered. Startled, he looks up just in time to see his closet door slowly opening by itself. He screams and runs out of his room. When his parents hear the commotion, they rush in to see what's wrong. Timmy explains what happened, but they just laugh at him and tell him that it's all in his head. His mom even makes a joke about how maybe the closet was trying to give him a surprise. Attack. Timmy isn't laughing. He knows what he saw, and he's not going back into that room alone. His parents comfort him and tell him that they'll investigate. They go back into Timmy's room together, and his mom listens to the recording. She can hear the date, and she can hear Timmy's name, but she can't make out anything else. She tells Timmy that she'll figure this out, and that he should go back to bed. But Timmy isn't so sure that his parents are doing everything that they can. While they may not be able to hear the whispers, they can still hear the messages from beyond the grave. After all, it's not like they can just ignore what's going on. They may have dismissed it at first, but when they heard the voice for themselves, they knew that they had to do something, and that's when the real investigation began. What will they find out? And is it too late? Now watch the scariest places you can find a camera, or click this other video instead.